A very common question that we get is, how does Impulse IQ differ from other computerized adjusting instruments in the market? Well, while it's not my intention to knock the competition, I also feel an obligation to set the record straight and answer your questions, so let me do so nicely. First, look into the validation studies of the other computerized adjusting instruments. The most important thing, I think, is to know that the adjustment is doing what it says it's doing. The way we validated Impulse IQ to know what it's actually measuring was by placing stainless steel pins into the spine in a validated animal model. Attached to the pins, we mounted triaxial accelerometers that can measure motions with extremely high accuracy. We then thrusted with the Impulse IQ adjusting instrument and compared the motions that we measured in our device to the actual motions of the spine, fine-tuning our technology along the way to account for the human error of holding a handheld device. We then determined if there were differences in the spinal motions based on the frequency of motion and how much of a difference that we could actually detect, and included this in our computer algorithm. We analyzed the motion characteristics of normal joints and also looked at the motion patterns of degenerated joints and what occurs during muscle spasm. All of this research and more went into the validation of Impulse IQ. Have the other computerized adjusting companies done this kind of research? Just ask them for yourself. With Impulse IQ, you can use your own technique protocols to find the area to be adjusted, or you can rely on our neuromechanical system procedures, which we teach in our seminars. Other computerized adjusting instruments use their instrument to tap the spine once and look at the response, and they use this to determine if a subluxation is present. I have a problem with their methods for several reasons. First, I don't believe that the load cell that they use as their sensor can measure what they say it measures. So we need to see a validation study done to understand what their waveform means compared to the actual motion response of the spine. In contrast with Impulse IQ, we use a motion sensor, an accelerometer, to measure motion. And as I've stated, we published our results in scientific journals. Second, I don't believe that the force that they're applying to the spine is enough to tell us anything about the spine at all. Their analysis force is so light that, in my opinion, that they are taking a reading from the skin and fat, overlying the tissue, maybe the muscle, but I don't think it's enough force to challenge the joint. With Impulse IQ, we have a preload sensor built into the nose piece to preload the tissue past the skin and fat to challenge the joints and muscles. How do I know? We've measured it and published it. Third, I have a problem with their analysis protocol of analyzing and then adjusting and then going back to rescan each segment in reanalyzation, if you will. How do we know that they're on the same vertebra before and after? The answer is we don't. With Impulse IQ, without moving the instrument off the segmental contact point that you choose to adjust, the instrument will sense the motion response and adjust the frequency in real time. You don't have to worry about these pre-post test issues. Which brings up another point. Impulse IQ is the only instrument to adjust the frequency of the thrust in real time. And this is in our patent. So as the vertebrae begins to move better, as the joint becomes more mobile and the muscles relax around the joint, the instrument keeps up with the new motion pattern in real time, speeding up. The other computerized adjusting companies' technology doesn't do that. Theirs just sets a pulse rate, and the instrument stays at that pulse rate throughout the thrust protocol. Maybe most importantly, I don't believe that we should be using an adjusting instrument alone to detect where to adjust the spine. Our standards of care in chiropractic practice call for a complete assessment of the patient that includes pre- and post-testing of the patient's response to pain perturbation, asymmetries, the range of motion, and assessment of the texture and tone of the muscles, in addition to your other clinical findings. So we advocate using a clinical system of analysis to determine where to adjust the spine and extremities as well, and whether that adjustment has been successful. This is exactly what we teach in the neuromechanical system. Last is price. Impulse IQ sells for $4,995. And if you're one of our current Impulse owners, we'll even give you 100% of your purchase price of Impulse toward the upgrade to Impulse IQ. We stand behind Impulse IQ with a 3-year warranty and customer service that's legendary. The competition sells their product for anywhere between $25,000 to $70,000. As you can see, our price point allows you to get an Impulse IQ for every adjusting room. We can even arrange lease financing for you so you can equip your whole office for just a few $100s a month. Just give us a call and we'll tell you all about it, with no high pressure sales either. Look, if computerized adjusting was as simple as others make it out to be, I would have been selling it 10 years ago. It's taken us all of this time to develop a product that we feel comfortable with, that's based out of research and development. With time comes progress. I also want you to know that as we speak, we're developing our fully integrated touchscreen version of Impulse IQ. When we release this product, the IQ will plug directly into the touchscreen and take all of the data into the patient's record through the computer. It will also have a complete soap-note system for your record keeping and eye-catching patient education modules to help the patient understand what we're doing and our goals of chiropractic care. And with our customer loyalty program, if you so desire to upgrade to the touchscreen version, you'll receive 100% of the money that you paid for Impulse IQ toward the upgrade. So there's no reason to wait. Get Impulse IQ now and take advantage of its features and benefits with the peace of mind that as our research and technology improves, you'll be along for the ride.